My name is Brian Horn, 29 years old, and I'm from Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey. So I work in financial technology. I do venture capital and business development, and I am currently single.
Currently single. What is the best question to ask on a first date?
Yeah, I think a really good question to ask is a bit more about their intentions and about their future expectations.
On the first date. I respect that.
Yeah.
I like it. A man who knows what he wants right off the bat.
Yeah, you got to know what you want, show that you know what you want, and then you could get kind of cute and flirty afterwards.
What would you say is your biggest dating deal breaker?
Say there are a couple, but one that constantly brings up their ex is certainly one. I don't want to hear about your ex on a first date.
I couldn't agree more. That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into ghosting, which I hope you've never done to anyone. Why do you think people feel it's easier to ghost someone rather than have a direct conversation?
Yeah, I think people are scared, right? People don't want to be upfront, honest. Maybe they're in a bad place as well and don't want to, I don't know, in a sense you're putting yourself out there, and I think there is like an empathetic factor towards it, to where people think if you say something directly and are honest, it'll hurt them, but honestly in the long run you shouldn't ghost, and it's better just for clarification and to move on.
I agree. Have you ever been ghosted?
I have been ghosted a handful of times.
What did you do in that situation? A handful of times. F these ladies or men. I don't know. Are you straight?
I'll go a couple of times. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I just gotta ask. How did you handle that when you got ghosted?
You know what? You just take it in stride. It's. I think you can't get your ego in the way, and I think it's more of a reflection on them rather than you, right? So, I think you just go with a positive mindset. You can't be too upset. I think it's just, definitely like low class, and think about it that way, and just be the bigger person.
Your person is not going to ghost you.
Person will not ghost you.
No,
Definitely
no,
not.
they will ask you out on that second date and responding to you right away. Do you think ghosting is more common now than in the past, or is it just more noticeable due to technology?
Oh, so much more noticeable, I'd say. But I think it does go hand in hand, right? With technology, you have the ability to ghost a little bit more on social media or just over text, but like I'm sure people back in the day had there's no way for people to get in touch with one another after another time or after an initial date. And there was definitely ghosting going on, but
it's crazy. My mom actually used to tell me that she would literally have to like wait for someone to give her a phone call.
Oh,
to
yeah,
ask her a date.
sure. Yeah, well, that's like, you got to bring out your maps and figure out where to go and drive also. Come on.
Not today. What are some signs that someone might be about to ghost you?
Inconsistency, I think, just generally, whether it's flexibility, boundaries, or just general like time. I think you're able to sense that a little bit, and that could be over text, that could just be meeting each other in person, and kind of the reciprocation that you typically have or have felt, and it's just not quite there. Just something's off, right? You get that feeling when something's a little bit off. And
I think it's not even something someone is doing. It's more just like a feeling you have. Like I feel like it's like always trust your gut. Your gut is always right. And if you feel like someone's ghosting you, they probably are.
Yeah.
Do you think ghosting is ever justified, or is it always hurtful?
I can't think of anything top of mind. So no, I think it's hurtful. I think you should, even if it's hard for you, there's always there's never a reason to be ghosted. I think you need to communicate it. Doesn't have to be effectively.
Have you ever regretted ghosting someone, and what would you do differently now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you learn a ton from dating when you're young, past relationships, even just, casually dating. I've certainly done it. There's a big difference from 23 years old to 29 years old, and you realize you don't want that to happen to you. So you have to communicate it effectively, and I don't know, just be honest as to how you feel, because not every date is going to turn into a full-fledged relationship.
No, it shouldn't. That'd be weird.
Yeah. Definitely.
Have you ever confronted someone who has ghosted you?
I have not. I think, like I alluded to before, you just want to be the bigger person. I think it's just a waste of energy to call someone out, unless, like me and you spoke before, unless you see them in person and you're like, yep, you're an asshole.
I had that exact thing happen to me. I got ghosted. I would never ever text them back after, because why would you do that?
Ever.
Saw them out and I was just like, don't Don't look at me.
Unless you're feeling like a little like have some courage one day and you're like, you know what, that's rude. You could have said something just for closure. But other than that, it's unnecessary.
I agree. What would you say to someone considering ghosting their date right now? Is there ever a gentle way just to fade away, or are you all for communication?
Yeah, I understand. I think kind of letting it fade away and I don't know, the talking phase and you're texting less and less every day. I think that's just like another way of ghosting to an extent.
Yeah.
So no, I think you just want to be upfront and honest and say how you feel. It could be as simple as, sorry, I just don't feel the same way anymore. Sometimes you could be super cliche. It's like, all right,
Not
like, it's not you, it's me.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
No, but it's more of a like, all right, this is just, I don't think you're the person for me.
Yeah.
And not enjoy your life, but I still
Wish you
think you're
well.
great. Wish you well.
Yeah. I think it's also right. It's better to communicate with someone, because at the end of the day, you don't want to waste their time. If you know you're not meant for them or they're not meant for you, you don't want to waste their time.
It's all about time.
Any final words of advice, wisdom to people who are in relationships, married, single? Anything, any advice you've heard that you want to share?
Yeah. I think maybe a couple things. I think like one I've kind of heard recently is redefine freedom for you, meaning that I think a lot of people get thrown into relationships, whether or have pressure getting into a relationship and would rather be with one just for the sake of being one.
Settling.
And settling rather than being by yourself and trying to find the right person. I think people are extremely hungry for love but neglect their self-love and reflect kind of internally. So I would say, redefine what freedom means to you. If you're more authentic by yourself and you kind of feel trapped in a relationship, get out of the relationship. And I think if you're hyper-focused on that, you're better off.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome.
You're adorable.